I keep wondering about the word comeback because I didn't go anywhere. Matter of fact, I live about 45 minutes away. So, yeah, maybe people stopped calling.
He once set his face on fire trying to imitate a rock god and also sent his best friend's ashes into the sky via custom-built cannon. Johnny Depp's life hasn't just flirted with the bizarre. It's built a mansion there, poured a glass of red, and put on eyeliner. Quiz time. Which legendary rock writer had their archives signed for in blood and bought by Johnny Depp for $1.2 million? Drop your guess in the comments. We'll reveal the answer later. Stay tuned for the wildest property empire this side of Versailles and a luxury yacht named after his children and his ex-wife. But to truly understand how a quiet, music-obsessed kid became Hollywood's most unpredictable icon, we need to go back to where wild early twists set it all in motion. Early life. In the humid summers of 1970s Kentucky and later Florida, childhood wasn't polished. It was raw, dusty, and stitched together with bell-bottoms, transistor radios, and backyard daredevil dreams. For Johnny Depp, born in Owensboro in 1963, those early years were a strange cocktail of chaos and wonder. By age 7, he'd already experienced his first deep loss, the death of his grandfather, Paw Paw, a tobacco farmer he adored. That grief planted something quiet and aching in him, something that would echo through every character he'd later play. By 1978, Johnny's parents had split. He was just 15, and the household in Miramar, Florida, where they'd settled after years of restless moves, was tense. His mother, Betty Sue, was known for her violence. His father vanished without warning. Johnny was left to collect child support payments, becoming the middleman of a broken home. Music, gifted to him in the form of a pawn-shop guitar from his mother, became his escape hatch. Depp was the kid who didn't fit, the one locking himself in his room to learn riffs by candlelight, the one who reenacted war scenes in the yard, the one who dug a tunnel from his bedroom just in case he needed a getaway. He mooned a teacher after being humiliated in class and once set his face on fire trying to copy Gene Simmons. Somehow he survived both the burns and the suspension. But it wasn't all defiance. There were mentors, his preacher uncle who taught him how to hold a room's attention, and his older brother Danny, who introduced him to Kiss and Van Morrison. These influences shaped his twin obsessions, performance and rebellion. Still, the kid with the velvet shirts and platform shoes was about to stumble into a new spotlight, one he never asked for, but couldn't escape. Career and success. Johnny Depp never planned on being an actor. In fact, he only auditioned because Nicolas Cage told him it might help pay rent. With no formal training and every intention of staying a musician, he somehow landed a role in A Nightmare on Elm Street. And just like that, he was inside the machine. Then came 21 Jump Street. Suddenly, the weird kid with the pawnshop guitar and the secret tunnel was a teen heartthrob on national television. But Depp hated it. The fame felt hollow. He trashed his trailer, tried to get fired, and later called the whole thing fascist. That same outsider instinct from childhood, wanting to run, to break the mold, was back in full force. He finally broke free with Edward Scissorhands, where he didn't have to act like someone else. He was someone else. That role, drenched in sadness and silence, echoed the boy who'd grown up dodging chaos at home. It marked the beginning of a long, strange dance with Tim Burton, a partnership built on shared vision, misfit humor, and emotional resonance. From there, he took risks few leading men would dare. He lived in Hunter S. Thompson's basement to prepare for Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, then financed a $3 million cannon blast to scatter Thompson's ashes after his death. And when Disney doubted his off-kilter portrayal of Jack Sparrow, Depp stood firm, developing the character in a sauna and channeling both Keith Richards and his daughter's cartoon obsession. But not every set was magic. During the filming of Blow, a co-star accused him of verbal abuse, and later his personal life would spill into courtrooms and headlines. Through it all, Depp insisted, "I learned more about myself on that strange road than I ever would have on a smooth one." Still, behind every dark suit and eccentric role was a man building an even stranger world off-screen, one of art, excess, escape, and emotional release. So let's delve into the depths of Mr. Depp's lifestyle insights. Art as therapy, canvas, sound, and solitude. For Johnny Depp, the camera was never the end goal. It was just another way to express what was already swirling inside. Long before the fame, he locked himself in his bedroom with a pawnshop guitar to survive the noise of a violent home. That same instinct still drives him, just in different forms. In 2023, Depp released a self-portrait titled 5, capturing the emotional toll of his 5th year navigating legal and personal storms. His paintings of late friends like Heath Ledger and Bob Marley aren't just tribute art. They're mourning on canvas. Music, too, has always been a lifeline. From his early band The Kids to performing alongside Jeff Beck in Hollywood Vampires, music has remained the most honest version of himself. After losing Beck in 2023, Depp took the stage at his tribute concert, visibly moved, proving again that for him, grief and art are intertwined. Demons and detox. Living on the edge. Depp has never shied away from his shadows. From substance use at age 11 to pouring vodka at dawn to write through tears, he's always been brutally honest about his coping mechanisms. But when his world began collapsing under lawsuits, headlines, and health scares, something shifted. He lost nearly 100 pounds, not for vanity, but for sanity. It wasn't just about the weight. It was about feeling good in my skin again, he said. That transformation, both physical and emotional, became part of his quiet comeback. The Island, the Jet, and the 40-man staff. If his films are surreal, Depp's lifestyle might be stranger. As mentioned earlier, he spent an estimated $200,000 a month on a private jet, and once employed a 40-person staff that included private chefs, security, and house managers. At the center of it all, a 45-acre private island in the Bahamas he calls his sanctuary. It's where he detoxed after turbulent chapters and even held his 2015 wedding. But more on that later. The pirate never clocked out. Johnny's look isn't a costume. The scarves, the stacked jewelry, the eyeliner, it's all part of a living collage. His wardrobe isn't curated, it's collected. He once showed up to a formal meeting in full quasi-pirate attire, rolling his own cigarettes and sporting layers of leather and silk. His fashion reflects a man who doesn't care for Hollywood polish. Instead, he builds his identity like his characters, layer by emotional layer. Comfort food and high-priced wine. For all his extravagance, Depp's tastes sometimes swing back to the simple. He's a fried chicken and Mexican food kind of guy, nostalgic meals that remind him of his southern roots. But when he goes big, he goes big. One wine bill reportedly totaled around $290,000. That blend of comfort and opulence mirrors his personality. Emotionally hungry, always chasing something just out of reach. Philanthropy rooted in pain. After his daughter Lily Rose nearly died from E. coli in 2007, Depp became a fierce supporter of children's hospitals, donating millions, often quietly. His art proceeds have gone to mental health charities, revealing that behind the eccentric image lies a man who knows what suffering feels like and wants to ease it for others. Even during his legal battles, he contributed to a charity single alongside Olympic legend Fatima Whitbread to support children in care. The public rarely sees this side, but for Depp, loyalty often shows up through quiet action. Controversies, comedy, and the oddities of daily life. He once wrote a $1.2 million deal in blood to buy rock writer Nick Tosh's archive, as teased earlier, and launched Hunter S. Thompson's ashes from a 153-foot cannon he personally funded. In one whimsical moment, he even flew a helicopter to a UK antique shop just to buy guitars. These aren't stunts, they're expressions. Depp doesn't live in half measures. Whether it's love, grief, or impulse, he feels it all loud. Yet for all the chaos and color, Johnny's world doesn't truly come alive without the people in it. The women, the children, the soulmates and firestorms who shaped him. Relationships and connections. Love for Johnny Depp has always burned bright, sometimes too bright. His first wife, makeup artist Lori Ann Allison, helped launch his acting career by introducing him to Nicolas Cage. Even after their split, she remained a vocal supporter, especially during his most turbulent years. Then came the wild romance with Winona Ryder. It was passionate, poetic, and just short of mythic. Depp tattooed Winona Forever on his arm, only to later modify it to Wino Forever after their breakup, a moment that now reads somewhere between tragic and self-aware comedy. His 4-year relationship with Kate Moss followed, a stormy affair punctuated by hotel room destruction and public drama. But Moss, like Ryder, defended him decades later. Vanessa Paradis was different. Their 14-year partnership gave Depp 2 children, Lily Rose and Jack, and offered a rare sense of grounded family life. When their daughter nearly died of E. coli, Depp never left her hospital bedside. He later called that period the toughest time of my life, and fatherhood a real foundation. Then came Amber Heard. What began with passion descended into one of the most public and painful celebrity breakups in modern history. Their defamation trial became a media circus, but Depp insisted he'd gained something, a deeper understanding of himself. "Buy the ticket, take the ride," he quoted Hunter S. Thompson. Behind the scenes, Depp's friendships have been just as intense. Jeff Beck, his musical partner and close friend, was someone he mourned deeply. His loyalty is fierce, even primal, once declaring, "If someone harmed the people I love, I'd eat them." Nevertheless, for all the love and heartbreak, friendships and fallout, perhaps the most volatile relationship of all has been the one he's had with money. And what happens when you give a poet a $650 million fortune? Income and net worth. As of 2025, Johnny Depp's net worth is estimated at $150 million. This marks a significant decline from his peak net worth of over $400 million, primarily due to extravagant spending and costly legal battles. Depp's earnings have been substantial throughout his career. He reportedly earned $55 million for the first Pirates of the Caribbean film alone, accumulating over $300 million from the franchise in total. His endorsement deal with Dior's Sauvage fragrance line continues to be lucrative, bringing in an estimated $10 to $20 million annually. However, his financial journey hasn't been without setbacks. Between 2003 and 2016, Depp reportedly earned $650 million, but much of this was spent due to his lavish lifestyle, which included a monthly expenditure of $2 million on expenses such as maintaining 14 residences and a private jet. Legal disputes, including a $7 million divorce settlement with Amber Heard, further impacted his finances. And yes, as mentioned in the intro, the answer to our quiz question is legendary rock writer Nick Tosches, whose archive Johnny Depp agreed to purchase for $1.2 million, with a contract signed in his own blood. Nevertheless, understanding Johnny's financial story isn't complete without stepping inside the surreal, sentimental, and sometimes symbolic properties he's called home. Real estate. Johnny Depp's real estate portfolio is less like a list of addresses and more like a breadcrumb trail of his emotional life. Each property, lavish or modest, seems to represent a different version of Johnny trying to escape, create, or protect something. Take his 45-acre private island in the Bahamas, Little Hall's Pond Cay. Purchased in 2004 for $3.6 million, it's a secluded retreat he once called the most pure and beautiful place he'd ever seen. It became a haven during turbulent times and even hosted his 2015 wedding, though that chapter, as we know, didn't end quietly. In Somerset, England, Depp now lives a far quieter life. The £13 million estate includes walled gardens, antique charm, and enough space to paint, write, and retreat from the noise. "I can just be me, and that's nice," he told a reporter. Friends say this estate marks a cleaner chapter for Depp, one defined by solitude, art, and long walks instead of headlines. There's also the sprawling Hollywood Hills compound, 5 neighboring homes bought over time to form a private fortress. Some say he even considered building underground tunnels to move between them. Classic Depp. And then there's the French village he purchased with Vanessa Paradis during their relationship, a 37-acre estate with wine cellars, guest houses, and a skate park. It's been listed multiple times, but never seems to fully leave his orbit. Then there's the Sentimental, a Kentucky horse farm he once gifted his mother, and the now-sold penthouses in downtown LA he owned during his marriage to Heard. Nonetheless, for a man whose homes span islands, castles, and chateaus, you can bet his ride to get there was never boring, and his garage tells its own eccentric story. Vehicles and cars. When it comes to vehicles, Johnny Depp's collection is more than horsepower and chrome. It's a moving museum of his tastes, contradictions, and characters. Let's start with the cars. Depp owns a Rolls-Royce Wraith, a Ferrari 488 Spider, and a classic Porsche 911 Carrera S, vehicles that scream luxury but whisper individuality. He's also been spotted in more grounded rides, like a Cadillac Escalade and a Mercedes-Benz V-Class, both likely modified for comfort, privacy, and perhaps carrying his guitars or his entourage. But the real statement pieces are his motorcycles. The 1955 Harley-Davidson he rode in Cry Baby, that one resurfaced at auction, nearly untouched. He also owns a custom gold-accented chopper by Arlen Ness, reportedly commissioned after filming Pirates of the Caribbean. It's no surprise the kid who once dug a tunnel to escape now rides machines that seem made for cinematic getaways. Then there's the Gulfstream jet, $200,000 a month to keep it in the air. Even amid financial collapse, Depp refused to give it up. It wasn't about status. It was about freedom, about disappearing on his own terms. It was, in many ways, his private portal out of chaos. And let's not forget the yacht, 156 feet of floating homage, originally named Vajoli Roja, after Vanessa, Johnny, Lily Rose, and Jack. Later renamed Amphitrite after his marriage to Amber Heard, it was eventually sold to J.K. Rowling. Still, it's remembered as a vessel not just for ocean voyages, but for personal chapters. In one of his more absurdly charming moves, Depp once flew into an English antique shop via helicopter, just to buy guitars. The shop owner didn't even believe it was him. But that's Johnny, forever unpredictable, part rock star, part folklore. Yet for all the roaring engines and cinematic entrances, the real story now lies in where he is today and how he's quietly writing his next act. Current lifestyle. After years of trials, both in court and within himself, Johnny Depp has found something resembling peace. Living between his Somerset estate and time abroad, he's focused on art, music, and quiet reinvention. He received a standing ovation at Cannes for Jean du Barry, a reminder that while the industry may have paused, he never truly left. "I didn't go anywhere," he said, softly defiant. He's directing again, too, with Modi, a biopic about Italian painter Amedeo Modigliani, backed by Al Pacino. Depp sees himself in Modi, misunderstood, volatile, defiant, and he's returning to the screen in Daydrinker and taking on a darkly ironic role as Satan in Terry Gilliam's upcoming biblical comedy. Privately, he's reportedly in a relationship with Russian makeup artist Yulia Vlasova, living a quieter, more deliberate life. There's less spectacle now, more painting, more music, and perhaps, for the first time, more self-possession. He's still a man who once signed a deal in blood and launched ashes from a cannon. But now the fire burns slower, more intentional, more like a man who has taken the ride, learned the cost, and is finally choosing his own pace. What surprised you most about Johnny Depp's life? Drop it in the comments, hit like and subscribe for more true Hollywood journeys. And if this story intrigued you, check out our next video on the screen now.